probably a good time to talk a little bit about somebody that's been doing this in real life. And so we got Tim and Paul from NTT Data, and they put a quick summary here together of sort of the experience that they've had working with both Axiomatics and eShare. But Tim, maybe I'll hand it over to you, and you can give us a quick overview.
So hi everybody, I'm Paul Yu. I oversaw this overall implementation of this project. NTT Data Federal has been partnering with Axiomatics for maybe a decade now, and we just started working with eShare this past year, and it's been a great experience for us. And Tim is the project manager of this project. I mean, we believe in it so much that our management team chose to actually sort of drink our own champagne, if you will, to implement Axiomatics and eShare within our organization for real use. The technical problem that we were trying to solve was that, as Mark was talking about, we actually had to duplicate, in order to share information from our organization, either with our parent organization or with our partners. We actually had to duplicate the information out from our own internal SharePoint into an external SharePoint that other people could access. And as Mark indicated, that was a very, very painful exercise, and potential spillage and proper replication is very, very painful and time consuming. So what we wanted to do, as eShare is talking about, is keep all of our information within our actually GCC High Office 365 with fine-grained access control from Axiomatics ABAC ADS server, and then be able to share externally using eShare. So what we have seen so far is exactly what Mark have talked about, is that we, along with our own automation using Power Apps and Power Automate, have been able to improve the overall processes and the sharing of information by leveraging eShare and Axiomatics. And I want to say that we've actually, obviously every implementation has unique requirements, and we encounter some of these unique requirements, and we share that with the team, both Axiomatics and eShare, and both teams worked hand in hand really, really well, and was able to deliver the new solutions within a very timely fashion. And as an integrator, that is a tremendous thing to have your product partners be able to upgrade their product line in order to help us achieve the desired outcome. Okay. Next slide.
Awesome. Paul, it was just a one slide
okay.
Summary. Right. No stress. So, you're good.
Okay. So yeah, I just Tim ran the day-to-day project, and he has set up a weekly Scrum meeting with eShare and Axiomatics, and it was tremendous. Both teams attended those meetings with us, and really kept a very positive cadence, and it was great. So look forward to helping you guys in the audience, and continuing working with Axiomatics and eShare. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Paul and Tim, it's always great to be able to work with you guys, obviously. One question that I always get is around the implementation, whether it's Axiomatics alone, whether it's Axiomatics with eShare. And one of those questions that always comes up is, how does the implementation actually look? What's the actual level of effort? How long does it take? Are you guys able to kind of go into sort of what this implementation looked like for NTT?
So I think overall, from the time we started coding to now, it's roughly 6 months or so, I think. But I would say a lot of that was we had to prep our environment first, and then there were product upgrades that we had to implement. So the overall 6 months, I mean, the eShare implementation was, we stood it up, we installed the agents and so forth. Basically, that was working. Axiomatics, we had to stand up ADS and then verify all the connections and so forth. And we were not, prior to this project, my team was not Power App, Power Automate engineers, so we had to learn how to do that. And so once you get the pieces, and having a knowledgeable partner like ourselves, that's actually gone through the whole exercise. We've done the ADS implementation quite a bit. This is our first eShare implementation, and then also having the two products work together. I think Tim and the team really understand how all that stuff works. And in the sharing process of learning what your organization's requirements are, and then also the finding the sources of truth for the corporate data, right? So we actually had to create a local database and then also be able to talk to our Salesforce system and so forth. So overall, the project has taken 6 months, but not all of that is just setting up the environment. That setting up the environment was pretty fast and painless, but it's really the rest of the implementation that has taken the time, I would say.
Yeah. No, it is amazing again having NTT, not just for, as you say, drinking your own champagne, but being able to replicate this down the road as well, not just for further implementations within NTT, but obviously with other customers. We touched on sort of the benefits, from a security, from a collaboration side of things. From an NTT side, any other areas that you'd want to focus in on, whether it's has this opened up any time savings, cost savings? Anything?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Matt. So as I said, we had two separate Office 365 instances. Originally, we were thinking that there was going to be a significant savings in the cost of the subscription, but it turns out we have a preferential contract with Microsoft or something. So that was not the savings, but what you guys were talking about in terms of the manual efforts to duplicate the files and making sure that there's not widespread usage, spreading of those files, and you losing track of the material. With this implementation, it will provide much better security and reduce the effort associated with management of duplicate files and so forth, right? And the replication of all that stuff to our partners and so forth.
And Paul, I assume you're on GCC today, so and I don't believe Copilot's there at the moment, but it will someday. And as we think of kind of this AI era that we are all entering, that besides the securing of that data, just general governance, speaks to the need for that data to maintain that single source of truth, right? So what you and Matt are saying of, data duplication, that is there's, of course, we've been talking about securing of data here, but I'd say one of a great outcome is you're actually putting yourself in a good place to be AI ready when that time comes, right? When that's available. I don't know if do you agree?
Absolutely. And NTT Data likes to say now that we are AI first. But yeah, I think doing this implementation, once you have the solution for unstructured data, SharePoint sharing with external partners and so forth, and you have Axiomatics installed, then because I actually started with Axiomatics in the structured data world, right? And I think there's actually a tremendous process of being able to apply these externalized access control logic to fine-grain to structure applications and also for controlling access by the AI bots and the AI agents, so that there's not spillage of information on through the large language models that you create from your own sources of information, right? Because if you let's say in a secure world where you have top secret or proprietary knowledge that you don't want to share with your AI agent, if you just left that out there and allowed you trained your large models with unrestricted data, then when people prompt, the potential spillage of information will happen. Whereas if you're able to have that agent respect the external policies and so forth, then the potential is that you could restrict those language models from knowing the proprietary information and won't spill inadvertently to the public.
Great point, Paul.
Mark, just kind of going back to the eShare side of things. One of the questions that came up, and I know you touched on it earlier, but the question was, we were looking at SharePoint and email. Is there anywhere else that eShare works with?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're across the Microsoft ecosystem. We actually have a Microsoft 365 app. We're native within Teams. There's all sorts of different, I'll say, egress points that we coalesce and show up. Our goal is to kind of be as much in the flow of work as possible. All right. So I showed you kind of a file handler. We also have an app for SharePoint as well. So we try to kind of show up as much as we possibly can in those flows of work. And then, I'll say it from an obvious, it might be obvious in that description, but I'll just say it. And of course, this extends all across mobile and any kind of device for that matter, right? So be it through the app, or be it if you wanted, if you wanted to access eShare just through the browser, you could do that. So we're as ubiquitous as you could be throughout the 365 ecosystem.